Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots. No one's watching the video here. Can you hear me, Andrew?
I can definitely hear you.
All right. Yeah, we don't do video on this. Well, I'm in California for a wedding, but we are here to talk King of the Ring '95. Andrew, what did you think of this show? Short, quick thoughts before we get into in-depth thoughts.
Well, we're definitely in the low period of WWF. You were definitely right
I mean,
about that. You
I
you
mean
did give
this
me the warning early months ago, and you're right, absolutely right about this year.
this is just I just so many wrong choices are made for this show. I feel like there's good intentions. Like, I think it's like a chance to elevate two guys who are losers, which is kind of what this thing should be. But they do a horrible job at elevating, and also like I don't know. There's so many good workers in the show that have nothing to do. But let's get into it.
Yeah, actually, I will say I don't think there's a at this point, I don't think there's a lot like of really good talent in WWF. There's like a handful, and the rest are just like Mantar and shit. It's just
Well,
like what?
I'll tell you, this is the good talent. Shawn Michaels,
Uh-huh.
Razor Ramon, Lex Luger, by the way, Razor Ramon, the Undertaker, kind of.
Hmm.
Um, Bret Hart, Bam Bam Bigelow, if they give him something to work with. What is that? Six?
Yeah, but
Luger. Did
like
I say Luger? Is Luger in
no,
that five? Oh, Owen Hart. Owen Hart.
yeah. Yeah, but it's still like I don't know. I just feel
But
like
they
there's
don't.
not as much good talent as there used to be. Because when Hogan was up on top in the '80s, from top to bottom, it's filled with like great talent, right? Like guys who like you go, man, if Hogan and Savage and stuff weren't around, you guys would be in the top. But because they're there, Bret Hart, you're in tags. Like, we're in here when you're watching this and they're telling you who some of the people they beat to qualify for the King of the Ring, and you're just like, Doink the Clown, fucking Mantar, like this is the competition like that's in the tournaments. It's like, what's going on here, And it's
What's going on here is this company sucks.
yeah, yeah.
Let's get into this stupid shitty event.
King of the Ring, Guts and Glory, taking place June 25th, 1995, in Philadelphia. 16,590 people are in attendance. 150,000 pay-per-view buys for this. In comparison, In Your House, the first one that was the pay-per-view before this one, is 180,000. In Your House 2, which will be the pay-per-view after King of the Ring, will be 155,000. So it's around the range of the shitty pay-per-views because SummerSlam will be 205,000 buys. So if it's a shitty King of the Ring was definitely not in the top four. Like the big four they always talk about. This would King of the Ring was they were trying to make it the fifth one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't in there.
Uh, yeah,
Because
they
it's
tried.
WrestleMania, it's Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. And I felt like King of the Ring was the one they were trying to be the fifth one, and it just wasn't taken, you know?
Because it's just a shitty concept. It's like Bret Hart. Really, you need Bret Hart. Bret Hart has to win it every year for it to work. It's a shitty concept.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He has
It's
to win it
stupid,
every.
and it just shows when you don't have good workers and you advance to good workers. It's not exciting. I was
Yes, good
never
point.
excited for the King of the Ring. It always felt like just this fucking thing they have to go through, and then you have to push the guy because if you don't push the guy, it's a waste of everyone's time. But then they wouldn't they wouldn't really push you right away, and down the road they're lucky they gave it to Stone Cold, but Stone Cold's doing pre-shows after he wins the King of the Ring. He doesn't like go right to the main event. They pretend. They like to
Yeah.
pretend. But same thing with Triple H. Triple H is in opening matches for like another 2 years. So it's like it's just a pain in the ass to do, and I don't really think it means anything. And it's a nice like look. It's nice for Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar and Gunther to say I was the King of the Ring and I won these belts. But ultimately, like if none of them won King of the Ring, it really wouldn't fucking matter. Like if Gunther didn't win King of the Ring this year, what does it fucking matter? You know?
Yeah. I think this is why they get rid of King of the Ring for a while. You know, it just isn't
Mhm.
like you're right. That's a good point. Like if in order for it to be like a good pay per view, you need like a great worker to win it every fucking year, which is like
Mhm.
tough,
And sometimes
especially
like this year,
especially this year, 1995.
well, but sometimes like this year, you want to elevate a shitty worker, but then you're making him have do three shitty matches or two and it's like then you just expose this guy stinks like they're doing with Mabel and Savio Vega tonight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's a problem. Like instead of just like having Mabel win squash matches for weeks and then putting him in the main event, I don't know. It's just it's and then and then like Vince's big idea, and it worked with Owen Hart, is they have to walk around with a crown, and it's just fucking stupid. It's fucking. Can you imagine they made Stone Cold Steve Austin walk around with a crown like Mabel does after this?
Yeah, that would have been and talking like he's the king. It's like it is there. Yeah, you're right. There's so much about it. It's just like it's not good. And I think 95. We're gonna get into it, but it's like the shittiest one.
Yeah.
Uh, so Vince McMahon, he welcomes us from the W. We get a shot of Philadelphia from the WWF blimp. I wonder where this blimp went. I kind of miss
It's in Vince's house. He's got Janelle Grant in it.
it. she's she's gonna win defense where she gets to take a shit from it and it lands on people's heads. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Wyan, she tells us that hey, the last qualifying match for the King of the Ring happened earlier tonight, but we're gonna show it to you, and that's our first match. It's not actually a King of the Ring match; it's a qualifier. We have IRS with Ted DiBiase versus Savio Vega, who comes out with Razor Ramon. Savio Vega hits the spinning heel kick to win a very quick match. After this match, we get the King of the Ring intro graphics and everything, and Doc Hendricks and Jr. are on commentary, highlighting it. So weird way to start the show. We just kind of get this first
Well,
qualifying
it's this
match.
is not this is not how they started the actual pay per view when you ordered it back then. This
Ah,
is they took the Coliseum video rip, and I guess they looked at it like because it's not a long show, so they probably like
mm-hmm.
we'll pretend we'll act like we're giving them a bonus. Like look at this whole other match you get. So that's the noise they made.
Yeah,
So
that's the noise Salvio Vega made when he went, but in Spanish.
like they're acting like they did you a favor by presenting this nothing fucking TV match. It's for those of you that are curious about Savio Vega versus IRS, all four of you. It was nothing match, a waste of everyone's time, and I actually wish it wasn't on the broadcast. Like I just want this thing to get over with.
Yeah, it's like a 3 minute match, and like I said, that there's not much to go over because I just went over the finish. That's it. That's basically it.
That's it. It's a waste
Um,
of my time.
yeah. Um, we get a after that we get a recap of Yokozuna taking out Lex Luger to qualify. So here's the thing too. It's like you're not putting in the people who matter into like the King of the Ring. Like Lex
Well,
Luger
because
is not in it.
Vince has decided that Lex Luger doesn't matter. He's mad that because he booked him like an idiot, he didn't get over.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's taking out on him. And here's the guy that I think at this point, if you turned him heel, he'd be like the top heel in the company, having great matches with everyone. Here's a guy who could deliver for you for like the next 3 or 4 years, and you've just completely given up on him. You've just completely given up on him, and instead you have Mabel flopping around like a fucking idiot. Anyway, just the dumb. Sometimes it's like, bro, like you just stumbled into such good luck, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When I'm watching the Mr. McMahon documentary, and
Mm-hmm.
they talk about Lex Luger, and they mentioned that he wasn't really liked backstage. They mentioned that as
I
part
don't
of the
give a
reason
shit.
why. Yeah, but my point is like that's exactly the same fucking mistake WCW made with Lex Luger, and they're doing the same thing in WWF. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
don't.
You're right. I don't give a shit either. Why does that matter to whether or not you push him? Whether or not you like him in the bag, why does that matter, right?
It didn't matter when no one liked Shawn Michaels because Vince wanted to fuck him.
Exactly. Good
Um,
point. Yeah. Where's the hypocrisy? There's a hypocrisy right there. But
Here's
that
my thing.
was
I remember
part of
like a
the
year ago,
that's part of the reason why they didn't push him because he didn't. The people didn't like him backstage. That's what
but
they
but
said. documentary.
But I remember, okay, but you still did push him, and you made him look like a fucking idiot. All it did was hurt your company. It didn't, all it
It
did
did.
was have my parents save money. They didn't have to order me these shitty shows. So who are you actually punishing? Um, it's the same thing last year when Punk was between AEW and WWE. Oh, we get. I remember like people like Josh Alba, fuck it, were like, oh, we can't. He's not. He's mean backstage. I don't give a fuck if he kicks fucking Triple H in the nuts every time he goes to work. I don't work with him. Just put him on your fucking TV show, and they have, and it's been great.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't. I don't care. I don't care if Brad Pitt is an asshole in real life
I
because
care.
that doesn't. When he's in the movie, he's in the movie. He's just acting. That's all I care
Yeah,
for.
I don't want to. I don't need. I'm not going to work with these people. I don't
Mm-hmm.
benefit. I just want on my TV who I want on my TV, but also like Lex, if you gave Lex time in the ring and you gave him with the right
Mm-hmm.
opponents, which they have not done this entire run, he'll fucking deliver. And
Absolutely.
they just have him on Raw because Vince decided that it wasn't going to work anymore. Okay, good for you. And what happened? He went to WCW. He almost went out of business. So fuck you.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. If he was in this King of the Ring pay-per-view, he would have had to probably put over Savio Vega, which is what's gonna happen in our second match. King of the Ring match. Yokozuna with Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji versus Savio Vega with Razor Ramon. You can see Superfan Vlad sitting in the front row with
Oh, thank
baseball
God
cap.
he's back.
Yeah, well, it's from Philly, so I was like, yeah, he. This is one of those trips he's definitely gonna. Doc Hendricks tells us Yokozuna is the heaviest WWE superstar in history. He's heavier than Haystacks Calhoun at this point. And we see Owen Hart. He's manning the hotline. He's tag team champions with Yokozuna. And the Savio Vega, he gets beat on, but he dodges the bonsai drop. But Yokozuna, he still attacks and he sends Savio Vega over the top. Sorry about that. Savio Vega does fight back, however, and he hits his spinning heel kick. He knocks Jim Cornette off the apron, but Owen Hart comes out of nowhere and he attacks Razor Ramon. And this brings out Savio Vega and Yokozuna both out of the ring to the floor. And then Yokozuna, however, he hits the steel steps and he doesn't make the count back in. So Savio Vega wins by count out. I mean, I didn't really like this. What did you think?
No, I mean, listen, the idea is solid, but the workers aren't there. Yokozuna is too fat to move, and
Yeah, yeah,
Savio Vega is good, but it's well intentioned, and I think it's a great idea. We're gonna build this guy up because he was Quang, but neither guy has the goods. They don't have the goods, so it was very average.
yeah. I would say they were. When I'm watching this, I felt like they were trying to make Salvio Vega into like the next Pedro Morales or something like that. And I was
Well,
like,
well, here's the deal.
yeah,
You should have just went all the way with Savio Vega.
yeah. They
I
should have
I
went all the
I
way.
think the way they do it, and I think Vince gets off on this because he's got a they have Savio make it against all odds, then just get crushed in the finale, and then he never really reaches those heights again. I'm just like, if you're gonna do this, go all the way, go all the way. And it's kind of like oh, this is just a waste of my time that I cared about this guy because I'm not gonna do anything with him, you know.
Maybe he just gets off on it. You're right. That's funny too. King Jerry the King Lawler, he's in the back, he's in the locker room, and they show you a close up of his nasty foot for the kiss my foot match. And he's like spraying, going like, "Oh, it smells real bad. Get ready for this match coming up." We turn back to the ring for the King of the Ring match number 3. This is the third match, King of the Ring match. Rhodey with Jeff Jarrett, who lost the qualifier, basically. See, this is again, it's like, what the fuck? Jeff Jarrett's not in it either. Rhodey beat Doink the Clown. And
No
he's going to
good.
be facing Bob Holly, who beat Mantar. But this is what I'm saying. It's like, these are the people that were like in qualifying matches,
I
like
know
Mantar.
it's like, dude, and I don't like Jeff Jarrett. I don't like Jeff Jarrett at all. The fact that he's getting on AEW pay-per-views in 2024, but not WWE pay-per-views in 1995. What, yeah, it's
But
like
he should
Bob
have been
Holly
in the
versus
King of the Ring at least, right? He's not even
Bob
in it.
Holly. Maybe they didn't want to beat him because he has the belt. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Holly versus Road Dogg. I mean, give me a fuck. You're asking people for money for this?
Yeah, this is crazy. It's crazy. It's like this is what I mean. It didn't feel like there's a lot of real stars. Anyways,
There isn't. There isn't.
Bob
That's why
Hall.
nobody's watching. That's why nobody's
Yeah,
watching right
that's why nobody's watching, and they do have record like low attendance in a lot of shows in this during this time period. Bob Holly, though, in the early '90s, he was fast. He makes a lot of multiple quick covers, attack, quick cover, and it's too much for Rhodey, who takes a powder. After a quick double leapfrog spot, um, they do a running the ropes sequence, and Bob Holly really has the edge until he gets hit with a power bomb by the Road Dogg, which is kind of weird because that's like power bomb at this point is the finishing move of two guys, Sid and Diesel. So the roadie to just hit it out of nowhere, I was just like, what the fuck? And it's not even a finishing move. It's just like I'm gonna hit you with a power bomb in the middle of this match. It was I just thought if I was an agent, I would have been like, "What the fuck are you doing?" After he came back, I would have been like, "What the fuck are you
now.
doing? Don't use a power bomb." Rhodey does a lot of the strutting and the dancing as he starts beating on, starts putting in the heat on Bob Holly. But Holly fights back, and then he goes up to the top rope to do a splash, but he eats a boot. Rhodey covers, and even though Bob Holly kicks out of the cover, the referee still calls for the bell, and Rhodey wins. Not a bad match, but I think something was wrong with the ending because Bob Holly did kick out, but the ref just kept counting anyway. I don't know what that was about.
I'll tell you what's wrong. I'll tell you what's wrong. The match. No one cares about these guys at this point. They haven't
Nobody does.
established like
Yeah, nobody cares.
they haven't established. I didn't care. I mean, the match was okay, but I don't care. And like I can't care about Bob Holly '95, and I can't care about the roadie. And I just waste of everyone's time. Just a waste of everyone's time.
It was. At this point, nobody really cared about these two. Another man who we don't really care about, Top Pettingale. He's in the back with Shawn Michaels, and they're recapping Shawn Michaels beating King Kong Bundy, I guess, to qualify. And Shawn Michaels says, when I got the sweet chin music, when I hit the sweet chin music, it's over. So now he's and he goes like, it doesn't matter how big they are, like Kama, I'm gonna beat him, and this is gonna go to match number 4, another King of the Ring match. Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine with Ted DiBiase, as they are waiting for Shawn Michaels. Kama, there's a black wreath set up on the ringside from these goth fans. Do you remember these guys? You just see these goth guys sitting there, and he would have these wreaths. Kama just like rips it up and shit. Um, and they recap who Kama had to beat to qualify, which was Draws. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, not Draws. Yeah, Duke the Dumpster Drosy. Drosy, yes, it was right, not Draws. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do you, do you remember an episode of like Superstars where like Kama like beats up those goth fans?
I kind of remember seeing that. Yeah, I think they show
Yeah.
it there at next at the SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, maybe that's where it is. But okay, yeah. Anyway, Kama's gonna be fighting Shawn Michaels, and to start, Shawn Michaels, he's definitely better than Kama's, getting the edge on Kama, sending him to the outside, and Kama has to regroup with Ted DiBiase. But Kama's bigger, so he powers back and he sends Shawn Michaels outside. And as Kama beats on Shawn Michaels behind the referee's back, Ted DiBiase also gets his licks in on Shawn Michaels. But Shawn Michaels fights back, and then we get a 1 minute time cue left. And then Shawn Michaels does a sunset flip cover at 2 seconds left, but the time runs out to a draw. Shawn Michaels hits the sweet chin music on Kama afterwards. And he starts posing after the match, but both men will not qualify for the King of the Ring. Probably the best Kama match I've ever seen, but
Yeah,
it
I
still wasn't
remember
that great.
when I was younger, I really thought this match stunk, and I thought Shawn Michaels half-assed it. He did not half-ass it. Actually,
No.
he did a pretty good job. I don't like that thing. This is my thing. If I was in charge of AEW or WWE, I would do a finish where the time runs out, but the referee, if you're counting, because like by that thing, then you shouldn't count. If there's like 5 seconds left, then you shouldn't count a pinfall because you're not, because you just end the match. No, if my hand has touched one and the clock runs out, I the guy has to kick out in order for it to not count. You can't count 1, 2, and then I don't like that. You can count 3. The guy lost. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah, absolutely right. It's kind of like it's like in football. You know when the time runs out, but like
Yeah,
if the
the guy
play
still
if
has
the
the
act- yeah,
running.
if the play is already in action, the play's in action,
Yeah,
and I
let
agree
the
with
play
that.
run out.
Yeah,
If he
exactly.
gets tackled and he doesn't make the end zone, the game's over. That's it.
Yeah. You know what hurt? What else hurt this match is that Kama is not like really over. You know?
No, no,
Yeah,
but
that's what also
but
hurt this match. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, like to me, like I expected nothing and I got something, so that's good.
Yeah, so far up to this point, this is like the best match so far, which, isn't really saying much, but it's also, it is what it is. We get Todd Pettengill. He's recapping Mabel beating Adam Bomb to qualify. Yes. And Undertaker beating Jeff Jarrett to qualify. We get a video package of Bob Backlund campaigning for presidency in Philadelphia. There's this funny part where he asks a homeless black man if he's related to George Washington. That part I thought was really funny.
That
um,
was really funny, actually.
yeah, that was good. Um, they also during this they show you the Spanish announce team and the French announce team, and they're talking about Bob Backlund and their language. And Junior does his trademark fake laugh. I was like, they're talking a foreign language. It's like I was like, oh god. But I like that little. That was actually kind of a highlight of the show. This Bob Backlund like campaign video. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
Yeah. Let's go to match number 5. It is for the next King of the Ring match. It is Mabel with Mo. No more Oscar. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and versus Undertaker with Paul Bear. We get those two golf fans just sitting. They show you a clip of those guys again as Mabel and Taker face off. Good face
They
off.
should
They're
they
both
should
big
bring them
dudes.
back. They should be fans of like Rhea Ripley now.
No, 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 no. They should be fans of the Wyatt Six.
Okay, good. Yes.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, Taker takes Undertaker takes it to Mabel until Mabel hits a very crappy STO. It looks bad. It's one of the shittiest STOs I've ever seen. To take down Undertaker. Then Undertaker, there's a point where he hits the ropes, but he falls through the ropes and his leg gets tied up in the ropes. And Undertaker is hanging upside down outside the ring. That part was a pretty cool spot. Uh, Mabel does, to his credit, hit a really good side belly to belly suplex. That's a cool looking move. But then he hits like a really terrible looking chin lock. Like he just sits
Mhm.
on Undertaker and then he just like holds this move and then he just like gives up on holding it. And it looks really bad. There's a referee bump and then Undertaker hits a flying clothesline and hits a choke slam. Mo takes a hit from Undertaker as well, but then Kama comes in and he big boots Undertaker, and then Mabel hits a leg drop to win the match against the Undertaker. Taker afterwards chases Kama to the back. I mean, when you talked about how like if Junior wanted to go all the way with Salvio Vega, he should have went all the way. Well, he's fucking for some reason he's doing it with Mabel.
Because he's trying to recreate the Hogan formula, which is Hogan eats up big guys. There's a special guest from California. That's Tony Khan, actually. Do you hear him?
Yeah, yeah,
Hello. Do you
yeah.
hear
I
Tony
hear.
Khan? He wants to talk about his TV deal. No, he's trying to recreate the Hulk Hogan formula where Hogan beats up monsters. So he's trying to build Mabel as a monster. He can't do that with Savio Vega and Diesel. Um, Again, I like the idea of, hey, what about we take out Yokozuna and Undertaker in the first round and then we build these guys up. I like the idea, but I think Bruce Pritchard said to Vince, "You want Undertaker to get pinned in the middle of the ring on pay-per-view?" Yes. Okay, but Mabel's gonna be the guy who does it, and Vince's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Okay, if you're sure." And I like again, it's another thing I like the idea, but the execution stunk, and it was the wrong guy.
It was the wrong guy too. We get a recap of the WWF Hall of Fame honoring the following people. They honor Pedro Morales, and Savio Vega actually accepts on Pedro Morales' behalf. Pedro Morales at this point isn't he like in the Spanish announce team for WCW?
Um,
Because I
I
could
don't,
have
I don't,
sworn we saw him there.
I don't know. We have to ask Big Daddy Meltzer. I don't know.
Okay. They also honor the Grand Wizard Antonio Roca, a fabulous Moolah, George the Animal Steel, who also gets a video congratulations from Bill Murray because they were both in the movie Ed Wood together, I believe.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah. And Ernie Ladd and Ivan Putski. So good for those
Well,
guys.
this first class is very much the FOV, the Friends of Vince. This is
Yeah,
these are the people that were the nearest and dearest to Vince's heart. I kind of feel like someone like Pedro Morales, even if he was WCW, Vince, this was like I'm putting in I think because this is the first class and he's picking everyone. I think you can say like these people are very important to Vince,
yeah, I
and
can
it's up to
totally
us to
see it.
figure
Yeah,
out. It's up to us to figure out why exactly they are. You know,
yeah.
there
Mhm.
might now that we know more, there might be yeah. That documentary. I don't know. Everything I see about it looks very shallow, very surface level. Like, oh yeah, we won the Monday Night War. Who cares? I want to hear about like Moolah holding women down for Vince. Give it to me, man.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
gonna get ready for our sixth match. It is the semifinals for the King of the Ring, and at this point, you can see little Easter egg. The Hardy Boys, dressed up in medieval times gear, they're the ones who are opening up the door to let the fucking entries in. You notice
Hmm.
that?
I
You
did.
see Jeff. You know what else I noticed? Like Jeff Hardy is still chewing his fucking gum, even that at that point. He's like always chewing his gum.
He's
You know,
already a star, brother.
yeah. It was kind of fun seeing the Hardy Boys though like this. So Todd Pettengill, he is with Rhodey and Jeff Jarrett, interviewed him before the match, and they say Jeff Jarrett says Rhodey's gonna win the whole thing and he doesn't need to prepare. But we're gonna before they get to Rhodey's match, we're gonna see Savio Vega uh, come out with Razor Ramon, and I don't know if you noticed this about Savio Vega. When his entrance video on the Titantrons, it's just like pictures of the slums. I was
Yeah,
like,
well, he's from the streets.
I
He learned how to wrestle on
was
the
like,
streets of Puerto Rico
what the fuck is this? Like, why are they showing pictures of the dumps? Like, I was like,
because
what?
because he's from the hood. He lives in the hood. Razor Ramon picked him up from the hood to wrestle.
Oh, that
Come on,
was so funny to me.
he's a
Anyway,
poor Puerto Rican guy.
so the poor Puerto Rican guy, Savio Vega, he's gonna be facing the Roadie with Jeff Jarrett. Roadie hits a shitty looking swinging neck breaker as he beats on Savio Vega. Then in the match, Jeff Jarrett gets in the apron. Savio Vega bumps Roadie into Jeff Jarrett to roll up Roadie for the win. Carlos Corbera starts trying to interview Savio Vega after this match, and they're doing an interview in Spanish, and Doc Hendricks joins, and he starts doing this shitty translation, like going, "Oh, Savio Vega says he's gonna lose, and he's after he loses his match, he's gonna go steal some hubcaps." And I was like, "Whoa, that aged terribly." Um,
I guarantee you, Michael Hayes like freestyled all that.
yeah, this was like a
Uh,
nothing TV match in my opinion so far.
again, you're talking pay per view. You're talking, give me $30 in 1995 money. You're asking you're giving them Savio Vega versus Road Dogg. Come on, man. Like,
Yeah, I
give me a break.
know. It's for real. This is so far we've watched like one pay per view worthy match. It's like Shawn Michaels versus Kama,
Yeah.
and we're already six matches in.
Hmm.
This is not good. Um, then we get Bret Hart. He's cutting a promo on Jerry, the slime ball Lawler, and he says he's gonna rip him apart for everything he's ever done, all the insulting he's done, my family, myself, etc. We're gonna go to our seventh match. It is the Kiss My Foot match. Jared the King Lawler, who Stephanie tries to interview during his entrance, and she's like, "Ooh, it smells real bad over here."
Oh God.
Uh, I know it's so hokey. Versus Bret Hart. Um, in early on, the King throws Bret Hart into the steps on the outside to start the heat process, and King hits three pile drivers on Bret Hart. And then Dirty King Lawler takes off his boot and hits Bret Hart with the boot a whole bunch of times. And Bret Hart kicks out of and he hits him with the with the royal fist drop and everything, and Bret Hart kicks out of all of Jerry the King Lawler's finishes, all the pile drivers he kicks out of, the fist drop he kicks out of. Bret's not gonna fuck himself for any of his finishers. Then Hakushi and Sinja, they show up, but it backfires, and Bret is able to turn the tide, and he starts hitting his 5 moves of doom. Then he puts on the sharpshooter to win the match. After that, Bret takes off his boot, but Hakushi and Shinja show up again, and again it backfires, and Jerry the King Lawler gets beat up instead. And then Bret shoves his toes directly into the Jerry King Lawler's mouth, like actual. You can see his toes are in his mouth, and then he shoves Jerry the King Lawler's own foot into his own mouth. I remember as a kid them really like hyping up this match and me thinking of how stupid this was even when I was a kid, but I never got to watch it. And now that I finally watched it, it is stupid and
Horrible.
it's horrible. I can't believe people pay money for this, but I will say this: I give Jerry King Lawler credit because he really like had Bret Hart's toes in his mouth. That was disgusting.
Well, here's the thing. They've been promising for 2 years Bret's going to get revenge on this guy. They've been holding it off. I will give them credit. Bret gets revenge. Bret does get revenge. However, it is so hokey the way they go about this. And it is so, you know, they just really, whenever Lawler's involved, they play into this 70s. Again, like I said this at King of Ring 94. They almost go back in time to like, Vince makes fun of like they do in the documentary, like, oh, everything was like cheesy and these smoke-filled arenas and corny like territory wrestling. They go back to like the worst of territory wrestling whenever they do something with Jerry Lawler. And Jerry Lawler is good when he's like serious. Like when he punches Taz in 2000 and he's like, don't make fun of Jim Ross's, he's interesting. And but for some reason, they put this crutch when he was with Andy Kaufman and he's like, wrestling is real. He's interesting. But they just rely on the. Like, what are you doing? Like this stuff wouldn't work in the 80s. And you got Bret Hart, one of the greatest workers in the world. Look, okay, 2 months to finally pay off the angle. I get it. This was I just would have had Bret Hart beat the crap out of him. But again, these are all like good ideas on paper, but the execution is horrible and they should all be killed. Everyone involved.
I also didn't understand why Bret Hart and Jerry King Lawler's feud was so fucking long. You're right. It was like 2 years, dude. Why are they feuding so long?
Well,
no
I
other
think
feud lasted this long.
I think because to give Lawler something to do. I don't know. I don't know why it went so long. I think also him getting arrested though extended it. I think Bret was supposed to finish this at that Survivor Series.
Oh, I see.
Get arrested for sleeping with that kid.
Yeah,
for when no one cares.
The child, basically, yes.
Yeah,
having sex with that child. I can't.
That pesky child really held up that story.
I will say this: the Bret Hart Jerry King Lawler feud ran a year and 10 months too long, in my opinion.
Listen, I will blame that kid for one of the cops out there.
Yeah, what a shitty payoff to this was. But anyway, we're gonna go back to this pay-per-view. We get a video of WWF partnering with the Special Olympics. Special Olympics, they really love that they're doing Special Olympics.
I think the Special Olympics booked this show anyway.
Yeah. Throughout the show, by the way, they were mentioning Rocky so much. Oh, just like in Philadelphia and Rocky this, Rocky that. And then they finally show you the Rocky statue. I was like, is this what they were building up to the whole time? I kept mentioning Rocky. Like,
they're making that Savio Vega is Rocky.
Yeah, it was kind of lame. Let's go to match number 8, our penultimate match. It is for the King of the Ring finals. Mabel with Mo versus Savio Vega with Razor Ramon. Savio Vega does a good job of doing a stick and move in the beginning to a much bigger Mabel, including sending Mabel over the top rope to the floor. You could tell, though, nobody gives a fuck about this match because during this match, we get an ECW chant. And a WWF pay-per-view, we get an ECW chant loud. And then Mabel hits the big splash to win the King of the Ring. Afterwards, Razor Ramon gets in there. and he starts attacking both men on a mission, but they double team him. So then 1, 2, 3 Kid runs in to make the save, but he also gets beat on too. So do you see Mabel standing tall with Razor Ramon, Savio Vega, and 1, 2, 3 Kid laying around in the ring? It's a cool visual because he's saying that's how powerful this guy. He beats up everybody.
But you
Mo
know
and
what?
Mabel,
No one. But the problem is, no one bought it. Like, you treated this guy like a joke for 2 years, and now all of a sudden he can take out like your top guy, Razor Ramon. You can see from the crowd. The crowd's not booing. The crowd's not cheering. The crowd just doesn't care. They don't care for the rest of the show because it's like we don't buy this, and also we don't care. We don't care.
yeah. So Mo and Mabel, they get on the throne, and Mo starts reading the proclamation as people start throwing garbage. And one piece of garbage does hit Mabel right on the head. It's a cool
Good.
that part I popped for. So yeah, there's your King of the Ring of 1995, Mabel. Then we do come to a point where we're backstage with Jared King Lawler. He's in the bathroom. He's trying to brush his teeth. He pukes in the sink and he's brushing his teeth. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, it was
Um,
hokey
yeah,
stuff.
him puking was kind of nice to watch when I was a kid. I don't know. I'm being serious. I was like, yeah, he puked because he had that nasty foot in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Wyan, she is with Ted DiBiase, Psycho Sid, and Tatanka. And Sid says that, oh, if you look at Diesel, he hurt his elbow. I'm gonna hurt him some more. And Tatanka cuts a promo on Bam Bam Bigelow, and this is Tatanka says, it's payday for Bam Bam Bigelow, and it's payday for us. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
He's supposed to say it's the he's supposed to say it's payback or something. I don't know. It's
You're
Tatanka.
right. He's supposed to say it's payback, but he says it's payday for Bam Bam Bigelow, and it's payday for us. I'm like,
I've
so
never
you're
seen a
gonna
I've
also
never
get your
seen a
ass
heel
kicked?
turn just ruin a guy's aura like it did with Tatanka. Like, come on.
Yeah. Uh huh. Todd Pettingill, he is with Diesel, and Diesel says, "Yeah, my elbow is not at 100%, but guess what? I'm gonna beat on Sid and Pocahontas." I was like, "Ugh," and it's like they're not gonna get me. Ain't gonna happen. And then Bam Bam Bigelow comes in and he goes, I can tell you with 110% confidence, which gives us 220%. I was like, what the fuck does this mean? These are all terrible promos. I don't even know what the fuck that means. 110% confidence, which gives us
Well, I guess because
220%.
Diesel is at 100%, so he's at 110%. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's some
It's just
Steiner math. Everyone, this is the main event, and they're all cutting ridiculous promos. That makes no sense. It's stupid. We're gonna go to our final match. Psycho Sid and Tatanka with Ted DiBiase versus Bam Bam Bigelow in new ring gear, with these like fucking flame collars, and his tag team partner Diesel. They all brawl to start the match. Then Sid starts working over Diesel's left elbow, and it gets the heat on Diesel. Bam Bam Bigelow then makes a hot tag and he cleans up, but then this DiBiase distracts from the 3 count and allows Psycho Sid to beat on Bam Bam Bigelow. Sid chokeslams Bam Bam off the second buckle, and this fucking excites Superfan Vlad, who stands up, holds up a sign and says, Psycho Sid rules the world. That was a cool spot. I will give him that. After a beatdown process, Bam Bam Bigelow, he starts running the rope, and he does a somersault senton on Tatanka. When he does that somersault like senton, Bam Bam Bigelow like almost lands on his head, and I was like, that was how I was like, oh my, I thought he was gonna become crippled right there, but he's able to move out and just hot tag in Diesel, who power bombs Tatanka, but he doesn't want to cover Tatanka. He goes, no, I want Sid, and Sid says, no, fuck this, and Sid decides to just leave as he's getting pelted with garbage, and then Diesel goes, fine, I guess I have to just cover Tatanka and win the match, and that is how King of the Ring ends. This main event was not a good main event. There was nothing on. There was nothing on the line. You know, there's nothing on
um,
the line.
it's a Halloween event, and there's a moment where Diesel like tries to pump up the crowd on the apron. They do a wide shot, and I think they thought the crowd was gonna like really respond. He's like, "Come on!" and no one responds. No
Yeah,
one
nobody.
cheers. No one. But the thing that was telling for me at the end of this show is that there's no cheers, there's no boos. Like people, you know what? I will say this. I remember when Roman Reigns got booed at the 2015 Rumble. Triple H said, but at least they're reacting. They're reacting to you. Like it doesn't matter if they cheered or booed. They're responding in a very loud way. Even here, no one's. I'm not watching. Half the world's not watching. The other half just doesn't care. And man, Diesel. Remember the '94 Royal Rumble? The crowd was on fire for this guy.
Hmm.
Now it's like just a main event that nobody cared about. Somehow everyone Sid has been back for 2 months. This guy was one of got this guy and he gets it back. Nobody cares about him. No, it's like, dude, what are you doing? It's just one of the worst. It's funny because last year was also a horrible main event with Roddy Piper versus Jerry Lawler. One of the worst WWF main events I think I've ever seen, and I'm going to include of all time. Of all time, an embarrassment on every level.
But you know what? The difference also is like there's nothing at stake in this match. At least
No,
like in the Royal. Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like why are you putting them in like a no stakes tag team match for the main event? That's just like I get it.
because
You probably
he didn't
don't.
want Diesel. He didn't want Diesel to. He needed to kill a month, and he didn't want Diesel to defend the belt, so he did this. But there should have been like, if Sid's match wins, Sid like Diesel has to have his hand tied behind his back in your house too, or if Diesel wins, he gets
Yeah,
a street fight, or
or they should have been like
Bam Bam's released from his contract if he wins, like something. Instead, it's just like they're
yeah,
just having a match.
they're just having a match. Yeah, you're right. There should have been something, some kind of stipulation, like, and it's just like there's no point to this main event. It's stupid.
And look, if the work was good, I don't think anyone would care that there's no. It's like, oh, we're just gonna watch a match to watch a match, but the work isn't even good. The work is not even good.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair. That's a fair assessment. You're right.
So horrible show. Don't watch it. Vince McMahon is not a genius. Steve Austin is a genius. Hulk Hogan is a genius. The Rock is a genius. John Cena is a genius. Eric Bischoff is a genius. Vince is a friggin' idiot. This show is awful. He should be embarrassed. And I would hear about things like this, and I'd be glad I wasn't watching, and I was embarrassed that I used to watch. That's how I felt when I was 14 years old because of shows like this.
I think that's fair. And yeah, this
Yeah,
was not a good show to watch. One thing I will say about this, it is kind of short, so I'll give it credit for that. At least that's like, but
it should have been
that's the
shorter.
highlight that it was short. That shows you how bad, how
It, it,
uneventful this pay per view is.
it should have been shorter. Horrible show. Everyone involved should be ashamed. They should take back everyone's Hall of Fame ring that wrestled at the show. All right, here we go. Next week, and we're going to be on time next week. Bash at the Beach 95 featuring Hulk Hogan versus Vader. In 2 weeks, In Your House 2 with the main event of Diesel versus Sid in a lumberjack match. In 3 weeks, Collision in Korea with your best friend, the great King Pat. What's his name? I don't know. The glorious leader of North Korea will be there. But Antonio Inoki is going to fight Ric Flair. And then in 4 weeks, we have SummerSlam 95. It's all led to this Mabel versus Diesel. What are you excited about?
Wow. I guess Bash the Beach because this WWF show was so bad. I want to see some WCW at this point. Wow.
I'm excited for Collision in Korea because I really want to pay tribute to our supreme leader, and I also want to see Antonio Inoki versus Ric Flair. That's what I want to see.
Oh yeah, actually that would be interesting to watch too. Yeah.
And that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to watch this event in North Korea. That'll be very interesting to watch because you've never been to North Korea. No, if you went to North Korea, you wouldn't get out. Let me tell you.
I almost went to North Korea.
Well, okay. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
You're gonna go to North Korea in 3 weeks. Me, you, and Eric Bischoff, and our good friend Sonny Yama. All right, guys, that's the podcast. Subscribe, leave us a review. We got a new TV deal, 190 million. We'll talk about it next week, and we'll see you then for Bash the Beach 95. Sorry for the short show, but I'm in a car, sweating my balls off, and I got a wedding to go to. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, Andrew Lee.
Bye.